You and your friends are at the usual hangout spot. The pavement on your feet, daylight leaving. As the night grows darker, you and your friends use the flashlights on your phone to make your way back to your car when something hits the light. Skin? No, it can't be. It almost looks like sandpaper, but it moves as if it was in fluid water. You finally catch a glimpse of the creature, on all fours with its eyes wide open, with a film of slime covering them. Head shaped unlike anything you've ever seen. As you and your friends run away, you can hear it through the brush. As you make your way to the car, those final steps as you open the doors and enter in the vehicles, the noises stop. You look around, but there's nothing. A true demon in the woods. Welcome back to another cryptid episode of A Delve Deeper. I'm your host Nate, and I'm here with my co-host Brad.
Hey!
And Joey.
Ooh, hello.
That was
Ooh. There's a hi and ooh. Love it. And follow us as we search the files for a deeper understanding, finding, and meaning behind some of the world's greatest mysteries, hauntings, cryptids, and mythos. Come with us as we attempt to take a delve deeper into the Dover Demon. And if you send me a video of you saying delve deeper did the Dover Demon 10 times fast successfully, I'll probably send you a cool picture back or something, like a Chris thumbs up.
Yeah, I was gonna say just a picture of just a nice thumbs up, like a half smirk.
Yeah.
Worth a whole $1.43 on eBay. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Send dog
Exactly,
pics.
yeah.
I don't know
Send dog
about
pics, yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I am really, really excited to start getting into some spooky, scratchy, peanut head frog monsters. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, if you haven't already, we are talking about the Dover Demon.
Ah,
Yes. He's very demony. Very Dover.
The Demon of Dover.
He's almost delving into demons, but he's not.
oh, he said it. He said it. No, I don't know why they chose demon as the moniker for this thing. Like any picture you see of it, I have never seen any other depiction of a demon that looks quite so bizarre as this thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they just did it for alliteration.
Probably.
But yeah, this thing does look really weird. For context, it has a watermelon-shaped head. It has elongated fingers and toes. It walks on all fours, it seems, but it only stands about maybe 4 feet tall. And it has illuminated orange eyes like glass marbles. That's crazy to me, because for one of the first few times in cryptids, it's not piercing red or deep black. It's specifically orange.
And then there was the one girl that said bright green.
Yeah.
but we don't like her.
We don't talk about her. No, just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's so weird. Like it's just this bizarre freaking thing. Yes.
And it's from Massachusetts, so it's probably got some kind of an accent there, bud. But now that we kind of told you guys what it looks like, let's dive into some of these sightings and break it down as we do.
So, for those of you that don't know, it was first reported, at least within my line of sight, is April 21st, 1977.
And that's the first one I have too, though some earlier things were eventually blamed on it, like one of the other cryptids we've talked about here before.
That's very true. Very true. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it too. So, with that first sighting, the story today, yes, that I brought to you all through Nate's lovely, lovely voice, is pretty much the first sighting. A bunch of kids are hanging around, like their local hangout spot, and they're kind of being rebellious. And then, story goes that they are kind of using a flashlight, and they're moving around, trying to get back to their car. It's kind of later at night, and they just see that creature where it's like moving around. Like, what the is that?
Yeah, what the hell is that? Yeah. What are
and it's interesting because there's This creature in particular is like, obviously a lot of people will acquaint it to the gray aliens, like a variety of them. But a lot of these, like the first story, also entails that like it doesn't really associate with any UFO or anything, which is why most people believe that it's more of a it's a demon comparatively to like an alien. It's usually an alien or some kind of like extraterrestrial is tied to some kind of UAP, UFO, whatever you want to call it, or they like stand upright. They typically have clothing, whether it's like skin tight or other various ones. This is just a naked dude. So
Now, here's my very important question on this. Do you think that this sighting could have been attributed to something like sleep deprivation, like the kind that could possibly be assisted by like a delicious energy drink?
you know what? I think it could. If you too are one of those children that are terrifyingly tired and you need a quick pick me up, then I'm just gonna say, you know what? Dubby has got your back at dubby.gg. So don't forget to go check them out and get your Jitterless coffee fruit extract drink, because they are, oh my goodness, so delicious. I love them every single time. And of course, I will say this every episode as much as I can. I love the mystery flavor. If they ever take it away, I'm going to be very upset.
So
do you hear me,
want
Debbie?
to?
I will be violent. I will get violent.
If you want to tickle to your taste buds, I have been combining the Japanese soda and the Dub Sludge, which is the green apple one. Fire, super good.
Absolutely delicious.
That sounds like it would tickle my tongue's pickle, like straight up.
It sounds beautiful. And if you would like
Where's
to
the pickle
try
flavored Dubby?
some Dubby on your
Ooh.
own, please go use our code Patchwork Games, all one word, which is going to be PATCHWERK Games, and you guys can get a fat 10% discount. And don't forget, it's at dubby.gg. And then you guys can go pick up a tin, energy cans, whatever tickles your fancy.
Shirts.
Yeah.
They got
a
some
bunch of
merch
other
on
stuff. So feel free to check them out. They've always got a good deal
Ooh.
going on.
Something
you
I
have
want to say
anything
that
else
I've
to add?
noticed they had that not a lot of places do have is their shaker cups are all completely plastic but dishwasher safe.
I'm
So
looking
you
at
don't have
that
any
right
little
now.
bits
Actually,
in
they
the
look really
lid.
nice too.
Yeah. I have one, and I love mine to death. It is my work water bottle,
I need
and
to get me one of them.
I put 2 scoops in, and then I get the delicious work water, and then
Yeah.
mix it up.
Hell yeah. So I
Super
mean,
good.
I know that I haven't had any energy drinks today, and I keep seeing all these watermelon head frogs, and like you guys, are you seeing any? Because you both sound
I'm
very
just saying, I
energized.
feel like the Dover Demon is a Dubby Dover Demon.
Ooh.
A Dubby Dover. If the Dover Demon would have had Dubby, he wouldn't have delved deep into the demonness.
That's what I'm saying.
Um,
You gotta delve deep into the
duh.
Dubby Dover Demon. Anyway, so after our wonderful ad, thank you so much for that beautiful intro there, Brad.
I am the king
segues are
of
fun.
unnecessary segues.
We can flow right back into, yes, where we talked about it a little bit. So, quote unquote, from these kids that saw this thing. At
Oh.
first, they thought that this creature was a dog or a cat until the headlights shone on it, and he realized it was never something he's ever seen before.
That's one thing against the and I know that it was just a segue, but if someone does genuinely have like a sleep deprivation theory out there because it happened at night, there's this first sighting is 3 different people. Like it's 3 kids who were together, 3 teenagers.
And I'm not even gonna lie, it began at 10:30.
So,
I
like,
mean,
if
don't
you,
get
if you're
me
sleep
wrong.
deprived, you got to be burning the candle at both ends. You deserve to see a demon at that point.
That's what I'm saying. Is somebody was
Yeah.
trying at this point.
Yeah.
But for me, I understand. I am getting up there. I just turned 25, guys. I know
Ah, you're almost dead. Jesus.
I'm almost gone.
Yeah.
I've got only a few years left. But
What the hell
so
does that make me?
We
Expired.
don't want to get into that. We don't want to get into that one.
That's
I
probably
get a little
true.
Actively
sleepy
decomposing. That's
past 10 p.m. I'm just a little baby like that. I like to sleep. So maybe they're funky, cool teens that like to hang out at night. Not me. I'm in bed at 10:30.
You are the youngest old man I've ever spoken to.
I hope so. I hope so.
Me, on the other hand, I'm like a vampire. I'm like up all night and sleep in, and like I gotta say, every time that I do see the devil, it is right around 10:30.
That's why I'm in bed. I don't need to.
Well, that's why you don't see him. You ever want to see the devil, you gotta stay up, dude.
I don't need to. It's not something I need
Devil,
to do.
devil parties, man.
Leonard
Devil-
only visits past 11, bro. No,
The Satan is a night owl.
Come on, dude. You gotta come back at 11 to 6. You know how that works.
I have chronic insomnia and night terrors, so yeah, I get about 3 hours of sleep a night on average if I'm lucky. 3 to
Wow,
5.
we were in such a good mood, and you just brought the mood way down, Nate. Like,
Well, I brought it down because that's where hell is, and hell is where the demons are. And speaking of demons, we're talking about. Yeah, I can make a segue.
that was good. That was masterfully done. Masterfully done.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Dover Demon, and this was the Bartlett sighting where it was these 3 17-year-old boys. But keep going, Joey.
Pretty much, after this was the case, many people actually believe that it could have been something completely different than what the boys saw. Which is interesting to me because now tell me if you've heard this one, Nate, because it sounds like you and I are gonna find some interesting ones here. So skeptics typically claim that the Dover Demon sighting was simply a lost baby moose.
I know. I love that story. It's so funny.
Which is saying like lost baby moose glimpsed under unusual conditions that made it look like a bizarre humanoid that's on 4 legs. And I was like, okay. And it was like, okay, so all the sightings happened during the wrong time of year, right? Because like people that don't believe it, they just believe that like
Yeah, they believe it was that moose, but the problem with the moose theory is it was the wrong time of year for baby moose.
And also, have you ever seen a picture of a baby moose? They're a little spindly and weird, but they're like, I don't know, I wouldn't.
They don't have
they
fingers and orange eyes and a watermelon head.
Or move like they're swimming through air. Like, I got them pulled up right now. They're not particularly Dover demon-y, I suppose.
No, they don't look that way. And it's very interesting to me because I'm like, I don't know. On the one hand, I think to myself, and I'm like, there's a lot of things that I could believe a different creature to be, but this is like a Gollum-esque looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
You can't just see Gollum and be like, oh.
This is the Kelly Hopkinsville goblins being owls all over again.
So, this thing, anytime you look at any of the pictures, all I can see is Roger from American Dad. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
It was a wild night.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what is it about this one that every damn person that saw this thing decided to go home and draw it? Like, everybody. Every one of these sightings, and then we went home and sketched it.
Yeah, because it's cool.
I guess so.
You know what, Brad? They've got more talent than I will ever have.
Sounds like me too, brother. Me too.
I think you're both incredibly talented, and you better be nice to my friends, or I'm gonna Dover Demon both of you. No.
Yeah, well, why don't you kiss me about it?
Demons delve deep inside you, sir.
Oh man.
Ooh.
It's delving so deep. All right, so before we get demonetized, not that we're monetized, but or worse. What's weird too is they specifically said it was hairless with flesh-toned skin. How is that a moose? How is that?
Yeah.
How?
Okay. Quote, sandpaper skin.
Yeah.
Sandpaper skin.
Tan and sandpaper.
What does that look like? By the way, how does that? I mean, I've seen a lot of sandpaper, but whenever I look at wet sandpaper, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's like an interesting way to describe something's skin.
Yeah.
Here's my theory on why they came up with sandpaper. You know how because of when you're a baby you put like lots of stuff in your mouth, you know what I mean? Because that's just how babies learn things. Like as an adult, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, you could pretty much tell what most things are gonna feel like if you put them in your mouth, right? And that comes from from learning that, and that comes from learning that as a baby. So I feel like they saw this and thought, oh, if I licked it, it would be like licking sandpaper, just based on the texture of its skin. I think that's where that came in. I'm hoping.
Your entire body is like a cat's tongue.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know, it comes from that caveman part of the brain that just wants to, put cryptids in your mouth. That's just where it comes
As
from.
do I.
Put cryptids in your mouth. Oh,
That'd be a great
I threw
t-shirt.
my load in a Sasquatch.
So no one can steal this idea. On that t-shirt, it's gonna be a box. It's gonna say Cryptidos on it, and it's gonna have all the cryptids we've talked about falling out of the box into a bowl of cereal. And at the
Hell
bottom,
yeah.
It's gonna say "Put cryptids in your mouth."
Hell yeah.
Of course. I would not expect any other thing.
Well, honestly, that would be a great product to market. We should get behind that. You just get all of like the leftover shitty cereal pieces from all the big companies that are like kind of vaguely amorphous, and people be like, "What shape is that?" And you just go, "Nah, it's a cryptid." Like you call it cryptido. Like honestly, that's a great idea.
We're gonna have the cake chart and the Cryptidos.
Mhm.
Oh,
Speaking
and
of the cryptid chart, I did to the Discord. I did submit a picture for consideration for the cake chart for this guy.
Yeah, I do see it. I do see it. But it's weird too because they keep saying watermelon head, and we've said watermelon head, but in all the drawings, I would say like kind of Brad said earlier, it looks more like a peanut to me.
Yeah, it's a peanut. Like if you're eating watermelons that are shaped like that, you need to find better watermelons. That's a shitty watermelon.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of those watermelons that's got like a bunch of rubber bands around it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for real. Oh no, watermelons are not soft. No.
Yeah. So did you guys get into the Bill Bartlett stuff?
Well, that's kind of what we're talking about. This is that first sighting with the 3 teenagers.
Yeah.
It also is important to note it doesn't have any mouth. That's a lot of things with the aliens that we've noticed is they tend to not have a mouth. It's more like just slits or like an elliptical like ending.
It's got like a node, I guess. I would call that like a node, a protrusion, kind of like it almost looks vaguely like the face of one of the like proboscis monkeys.
Kinda.
Oh yeah, I would have
From
believed
One
that
Stitch.
over baby moose.
Agreed.
I also had this thought my entire life that like we don't see the mouth because we expect it to be on the face.
That's a good point.
If something ever evolved, it wouldn't look like that. So there's just sometimes where I'm like, it probably doesn't have a mouth where we think it is.
It could be like a starfish. It's like one of where it's just got a feeder but like center of mass.
Yeah, I was like that, or it's like underneath the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can get
that's
behind
kind
that.
of my.
It's on
my
its
thought.
ass.
I was like, yeah, that's what I used to think. Is this like there's got to be a different place for it than the where we're thinking, but
Yeah.
Joey's like, every creature I've ever heard of has at least one hole somewhere.
I found all of them.
I just like how Bill Bartlett he says he swears on a stack of Bibles. How many Bibles
Make a
do you
stack.
think makes a stack?
3.
3?
I was
Okay, so
gonna say
3 or more
minimum.
Bibles?
Yeah, and they can't be the same version either. You can't have 3 James King versions. They have to be 3 different versions, or it
Yeah,
doesn't
because
count.
at that point that's a collection or a stockpile.
End times type shit. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It also has no ears, no nose. Unless that big thing is its nose. Again, like Joey said, we're kind of only getting the front view. We never get it underneath. Which, if you're out in the woods and it crawls over you and you get an underneath view of it, you probably got bigger things to worry about.
You're out
Yeah,
there,
I was
you're
gonna say.
bivouacking out in the woods. This thing crawls over your face. You wake up just in time, so you're, oh my god!
Okay. I also have one extra thing here.
Okay.
So, on this hoax claim for it as well, there's an explanation where somebody said that it was either illegal to own pet gibbon.
We weren't far off with the proboscis monkey.
I was like, with the freaking monkeys, right? The little,
Yeah.
whatever, the primate. I was like, I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me again. It is not a hairless ape.
Nope.
It is still covered
Covered
head
in
to
hair.
toe in
Yeah.
fluffy. Like, if I saw a gibbon in the light of like headlights, I feel like I'd be like, oh god damn, I didn't know there was getting cheeked up apes around here, you know, like
Right.
what's going on? But no, I mean, it just looks, every picture, like we're saying, is like every picture and description of this thing is like spindly.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Look up
The
a
only
picture
way-
of a baby gibbon right now. I'm looking at one.
Nothing.
Honestly,
I was gonna say shaved. If you've ever seen like a shaved bear, you wouldn't know that's a bear. If it was a shaved gibbon, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
this
if you go-
shaved.
Is there a photo?
Here, I'm gonna share a photo with you right now.
I'm looking at one. It's definitely
The
weird
hairless
looking.
female baboon. That looks like it could have been one. Look up hairless female baboon. That totally looks like it could have been one. Now that I'm looking at it hardcore, like.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
pull this
yeah.
picture up.
You right?
I could definitely get further behind that than anything else. But again, we're talking about what researchers, people far smarter than me, have been talking about, and they just said that it looks orange,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. This one is definitely one of
Neat.
those cryptids though that, like, at least for me, is like such a strange one. It's
Yes.
strange because there's so much going on in the story specifically, where it's almost like it's hard to corroborate 3 stories into one,
Yes.
and somehow they managed to all kind of have the same description of this thing
Mm-hmm.
without falter. And that's always a big stand-in for me when it comes to these stories. It's like, usually somebody gets one detail wrong.
Right. And
Yeah,
they're
it's like we've said
incredibly
before.
consistent.
Yeah, it's like we've said before. If you've ever played that game of telephone in school or on a playground, or if you had friends, where you whisper something to somebody, they whisper something to someone else, and it goes down the chain, and by the end, the last person has something completely different than what you said.
Right.
So
And
the
that's
fact that
where-
it is so consistent,
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just consistent with each other, and the story kind of sums up in a weird way, for sure. Because pretty much they end up seeing this thing, they go home, and they tell everyone about it,
This one.
and then it doesn't get seen very often.
Yeah. This one for sure has a weird thing kind of attached to it where every single possible explanation for it is like wildly bizarrely inaccurate.
a
Like yeah, the
lot of
moose
teenagers too.
calf. Yeah, the moose calf doesn't look like a moose calf. Could it be a gibbon? Doesn't look like a gibbon. The most popular is that that Joe Nickel guy saying that it's probably a snowy owl, which doesn't look like a bird.
I
That's-
hate owl theories
yeah,
so much.
it's so
I hate
stupid.
owl
And they're
theory.
everywhere in cryptids. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
every
first
cryptid
note, you're like,
has
"Ah,
a
it's an
theory that
owl."
it's either. Yep, every cryptid always has at least 2 theories attached to it, where it's either 1, just a weird animal,
Mhm.
or 2, alien. Every single cryptid has those 2 theories attached to it somewhere.
Yes.
Those ones are the strangest to me, because like we're saying, is like the animal ones always get me, because like there's a couple of them, and we said this one on the Mothman episode. Like the Mothman one, I think makes sense. That is the one that I think like
It's just too
makes
big.
the most sense.
Yeah.
Is that crane lives there? There's plenty of evidence that thing has been there before, but it's just and it's where its like migratory route goes.
Right. It's like legitimately a viable option for what it could be.
But then
Yeah.
some of them, I feel like, just kind of come out and just spill over into the side of like, oh, well, let's just find a reason to not have to dig further into it. Now, and
They
there
don't wanna
is a
delve as
lot of
deep as we
stories
do.
like this. Well, there's a lot of stories like this one that happen that don't really get any more coverage.
Mhm.
I will say, as far as theories go, alien theory being one of them, it is attached to every cryptid, and I'm usually quick to dismiss it. This is one of the few where it's close enough in description to the Greys. If the Greys were doing something like has been theorized, where they're trying to combine their DNA with other DNAs, and they happen to successfully do that with, say, a dog, a cat, something like that, and then put that, like, it got out or they put it there,
Mhm.
maybe. But in order to believe that, you have to believe Greys are real, believe the Dover Demon's real, believe that Grey DNA experimentation is real, and believe that it either escaped or was set loose.
Now,
Like-
to touch on that point, I forget who it was, but I did see a theory, because the Greys are supposed to be like a biological computer of sorts. You have a computer, if it does not update or does not have connection to the internet long enough, it'll start to get all glitchy and weird. And they said, well, what if this was what happens when you have a gray alien that is stuck on Earth with no connection to the mothership, so to speak, and it starts to just kind of get weird and wonky.
Or maybe it's got rabies.
Or maybe it's got rabies, yeah.
There's a dog with mange again.
Again. Yep.
Again.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these cryptids. It's always like something with
It's
mange.
an arson bear.
It is always the bears. Always.
It's like it always seems like it's like, oh, that's just a critter with mage or an owl. Like it's always those two.
Well, the Kelly goblins were bulletproof owls, so don't forget that. That's my favorite owl story. Is that like it was just owls, and it's like, yeah, but you shot one clean through the chest. No,
Yeah,
no, it
you were
bounced right
shooting
off.
for
They had
4
Kevlar.
hours, and the owls stayed.
They've got Kevlar sewn into their skin, dummy. But it begs a good question though, because the Dover Demon is kind of like, I mean, let's be honest. At least for me and many other people, I believe that this is like more of an alien sighting than it is like a cryptid sighting.
Yeah, like I said, if any cryptid has an alien sighting that I'm going to give credit to, it's definitely this one. It's just got a lot of similarities.
Mhm.
Well, that, and it also reminds me of like the Flatwoods Monster, where it's like it appears once and then that story becomes popular.
Yes.
And then it's just gone. Like we don't ever see it again.
Yeah. There's also a theory that it's the chupacabra. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Joey, we always say it's the bears, but this is in Massachusetts, so it could have been the bears.
I'm telling you, man. Those hairless bears are at it again.
Delve
Hairless
Deeper.
arson bears.
We here at Delve Deeper believe the Dover Demon was just trying to get the Dunkin' Donuts.
He was.
I saw
He was
this.
unsuccessful.
The idea that this one is a hoax, which I don't know. This one is like the amount of evidence for this one is so skinny that it, for me, kind of lends it to it possibly being a real thing. Like somebody actually saw something, because a lot of times you get the ones where it's like you get this overflow of evidence where you go, okay, a lot of that is going to be people making up stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the people who try and discredit anybody, like as far as skeptics go, trying to discredit it, they're always like, oh, well, you got to think that Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind released that same year, but Star Wars released in May, and then Close Encounters released in November of that year, and this thing was first seen in April.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
There's a
this
lot of
predates
time
both of
for it.
those. And it wasn't like
What's-
back in the day where you get all the commercials every day. You weren't just going on your TikTok feed and seeing, every other video is about the Minecraft movie like it is now. Like
Chicken jockey.
What's important to note too is that within I think it's 16 hours. Yeah, within 16 hours of each other, those 3 17-year-old boys saw it. Another 2 teens who were not associated with those boys, they were by them, like they were doing something else. Another 2 teens an hour later called in, and then the very next day, that morning, another 2 teens claimed to have seen it. So this was all within like 16 hours. All of these teenagers have seen this.
and all within a few miles of each other too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a small town.
Which-
Dover only has a population of like 7,000, I think.
I will say that okay. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before. I have had to bike a few miles before. It is not easy.
No.
Let me just put
Yeah.
it that way. It's not an easy test. So to go be like, okay, and you're like fucking rushing over to your buddy's house to go tell him to tell the story
Yeah.
No.
1 a.m. It's not happening. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
that's like it's near impossible for you to make that time when it's been stated that like yes they have a vehicle,
Mhm.
but in reality only one of them had the vehicle.
Yes.
So it's not like they had a whole squad roll up and then go tell their friends after
Right.
at XYZ 1 a.m. in the whatever. So it's like
Now,
it's an interesting tie-in.
a weird fact with
Yeah.
this thing that makes it kind of it muddies the water for me as to whether it is true or not is the fact that it does have quote unquote similarities to the stuff that was seen in the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter in 1955.
Yeah.
It was in a similar area. It's like it's similar, so that like on the one hand that lends it to okay, this is similar to something that's been seen before, so that's past evidence, but at the same time that means that these kids might have gotten a hold of that information and then decided to spin their own. So that kind of muddies the waters again. But it's skinny enough that for me it's still plausible that there was something out there.
Yeah, and definitely for me at least, this one's really hard for me to not at least have some belief in. In terms of realness, I think this one is definitely up there for me.
Mhm.
Same thing with like the Flatwoods Monster we'll have to do in a little while, but like I really think these two are kind of the same for me in terms of like they're both really really close to having like there's a small town, a few people that barely know each other are corroborating stories, and these people that barely know each other are getting very detailed into it that make no sense. And it's like there's no real reason why they would go up to these random people and be like, create a story with me. You know, so that's the thing too, is that that's the part of credibility I think is really interesting when it comes to like stories and getting told different things, because we're also told, you know, that like there's multiple kids in this area that see this thing.
Mhm.
The odds that they all know each other are pretty high, but the odds that they're friends pretty low.
So I just jumped down the rabbit hole for a few seconds, looking into the Kelly Hopkinsville encounter from 1955. I'll give you two guesses as to what the main theory for what it is, what these creatures could be.
That's right, Brad. That was before your time. We did cover them.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah, we have a Kelly Hopkinsville encounter
Ouch.
episode, and you guys can find that anywhere you get your podcasts
Hell
at
yeah.
Delve Deeper.
see, that goes to show I am not yet all the way through the lexicon of a Delve Deeper yet.
Shame on you.
Working
You
on it.
lost your honorary spot. You have lost your spot. No. But I
Yeah,
do
again, owl.
love the
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times that like again like the Dover Demon gets mentioned a lot in such a small time frame. It's hard not to be like that's where I think the big difference between like this one and like a Sasquatch goes for me,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm like this is something that's like seen once and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Mothman, same thing. Got seen for a very short period of time, gone. Never seen again. And then, like, you get a few pop-ups here and there, and, like, maybe, you know, because I've seen, there's a story that I have from 2019 where somebody reported to local police that they saw what they thought was pretty much just description of a Dover demon.
Mhm.
They didn't know what to call it. They called it like a rabid dog or wolf is what they described it as. But then they described the shape of the head and the way it moved, and they just got freaked out enough that they wanted someone to go check it out. So the police went around, and general synopsis that they have is like they went around, didn't find anything, but they just the description of it is believed to be like the Dover demon description, because they were like, oh, it has like bright yellow orange eyes. It's on all fours. It looks sickly, ill, or like lacking in hair.
Yeah.
Has an elongated head and no
Sandpaper
like
like skin.
discernible facial features is what they were saying.
Yeah.
But that was back in
Small
20
gangly.
Yeah.
Small and gangly. I love those two as descriptions for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was the most recent report I could find on this thing, but it was like a
2018.
one-off. Yeah, just a one-off sighting that happened. That even the person that witnessed it, like later on in this little interview, was asked about it. They didn't say anything. They just said like it could be. I don't know. Don't know what I saw last night.
Yeah, well, they did have a cryptozoologist, which, fun fact about Nate, I almost went to college to become a cryptozoologist. Lauren Coleman come down and spoke to some of these teenagers, and she deems them as credible witnesses.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, I see why though. You know, like I see why she would verify it. I mean, like I said, like it's so difficult for me not to. It's difficult for me to hate on these ones because I'm like, it's just one of those stories that like you tell your buddies one night, like your buddies, you have like this really interesting story. People aren't gonna believe you. People are, some won't, and it's just like a story for whatever. And I mean, we all have stories like that. And I mean, I go over mine in like our first Alien episode, where like my dad saw something in the sky do something really crazy, and he just like picked me up, threw me into the house, and then locked all the doors, locked all the windows, shut all the blinds, and turned off the lights. Really creepy, weird experience to have as a child.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, when you figure it out, it's like, oh, there's a reason for why they did that.
Yeah.
It's because of their own personal stories, and they have that belief so hard that it's real to them. And that's the thing that I think is most interesting about like the Kelly Hopkins, the Flatwoods Monster, like they're all real accounts of people that actually felt true fear of something enough to do something about it.
Yeah.
And so
And like you had said, the one-off things, at least for me, it's more believable.
Yeah.
Because that's just a small group of people, and it's, again, it's always a group of people, so you get more than one account on it. They just saw something. They just saw some weird shit one night, instead of people like, oh, I got this great story. We're gonna do this, spread the legend to get a little attention for us, or to try and freak some people out, like
Amityville.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, it's still on topic because it's about Dover Demon, but it's a little off topic. Is that we said this first sighting was in 1977, which is true. That's the first one that was dubbed Dover Demon, and that's the one that deals with this cryptid. And we've said that it bears a lot of striking resemblances to the gray aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And something else to note is that there's a Native American tribe called the Ojibwa, and in their lore, they have a creature very similar to this.
Yeah.
Managishi. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. And they're described as small, gangly, spindly, half-human tricksters. And they have a better description, which I am currently in the middle of getting. But that's the main description, and that's something interesting is that a lot of these cryptids, that the ones that seem the most credible, i.e. like Sasquatch. I know how you feel about it, Joey, but there's a lot. Dover Demon, etc., have usually some type of lore that has something very crazily similar, especially if it's like ancient Native American or other ancient civilizations.
Okay, but let's be real. Anytime the Native Americans get involved in this shit, it's actually the fucking most horrifyingly real thing, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true, too.
It absolutely kind of lends some credence to it. But at the same time, like you were saying, Joey, that if it's something that has Native American lore, usually people are dying left and right associated with it.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, I mean, you even take, like, the Thunderbird, for instance. Like there's a lot of American like folklore with it, and like it's fucking crazy because it's like, oh yeah, if one flap of his wings blew down a city, and you're like, okay.
Oh, I need to issue a correction real quick. I apologize, I messed something up. The Ojibwa one is the Memegwesi, and the Managishi is Cree, apparently.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that we clear that up. That way we're not trying to disrespect anybody. We're learning.
But it is a very odd, like, similarity to it for sure, and it even gets referenced in the actual Cryptid wiki. If you go on there, you can find a lot there, folks. But on the Cryptid wiki, it also just mentions the Managishi, tying directly to the Dover Demon, and you can see why. Honestly, you can truly see why.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, the one thing we know I love to talk about is the Dover Demon in pop culture and media. And it's actually had several documentaries made about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been in several TV shows, mentioned in several books. It's gotten quite popular despite Dover having a relatively small population.
Yeah, and I mean, for instance, one of the most famous depictions is in the Lost Tapes episode.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good one.
The Animal Planet's Lost Tapes is really good. If you like cryptids and you've never seen that, I believe they have it on Amazon Video, like Amazon Prime.
It's pretty
or
cool.
on the internet, because we live in that type of an age.
The future is now.
Yeah. But it's called Animal Planet's Lost Tapes, and they cover a bunch of stuff. I love watching them. Anytime I do research for this, I go there and see if they have an episode, because usually they have some fun facts in there too.
Hell yeah! Now, I want to know. We'll go through
me?
one. I want to know about this weird peanut head frog monster like me. No, I want to know for each of us. What do we think is the most likely answer for what this thing is?
The one we think is actually most likely, or the one we want to believe? Because I have two different answers.
Let's do both. Let's do both.
Okay.
Let's start with actual, and then follow up with what we want it to be.
Okay, Joey, go first.
Okay, absolutely. What I hope it to be 100% is I want this to be a variant of gray. Absolutely. Yeah. That would be, again, I'm a big extraterrestrial fan.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything about them. I think there's it's such an interesting experience to read about different like theories on them for sure. And I definitely have my own theories on a lot of this stuff. That's what I wish it was gonna be, is just like either like an observer or something that's like attuned to the gray area. In reality, though, what do I think it is? I think it's a valid enough creature that it could have been something. I'm surprised the dog with mange did not come up again.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. But if I was going to accustom anything to the Dover Demon, honestly, I think it could have been like a multitude of things, especially when it comes to teenagers driving down a dark road. It could have been a plethora of things in reality and been something either
someone's heart is about to explode.
Really crazy or something.
I was
really,
moving my mic. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was trying to do it slowly, and I think it was making more noise doing it that way.
Yeah. Sorry.
It could just be pure nothingness. Like, I mean, if it ended up being an owl, I would be very upset. Let me just say that.
Agreed.
Very upset.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I like the alien theory. What I think it most likely to be is, like you said, Joey, either a very sick animal of some sort, or not real. But
I mean, I did mention the 2019 where the woman thought it was like a really fucked up wolf.
Yeah.
Which possibly.
Maybe. But what I want it to be is now I know Joey loves his extraterrestrials. I myself only have 2, but I do love them as well. Um, uh, the the theory that it's a gray or something that did the DNA mixing, like I said, in order to believe that, you have to take a lot of steps to get there. But I want that to be real, because if that's real, that explains a lot of other things.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it would confirm a lot.
So
Yeah.
for me, what I think the most likely answer is for me, kind of like what you were saying, Joey, where it's most likely some sort of animal that's just like kind of messed up, and these kids were. I mean, it was the 70s. They were all teenagers. They were, they were probably on some substances. Let's face it. And they saw something that was a little messed up, and then they were like, "Whoa, did you see that, man?" Or like it also could be. I mean, again, eternal skeptic here, but I do believe in extraterrestrials. I do think that this could be a gray of some sort. What I want it to be, I love the Native American myth. Like that's for me the Managishi, that's the coolest for me. I love those types of myths, and I like the idea that it's something that's that old of a myth. What I really want it to be is energized by some delicious energy drink, Dubby energy drinks.
We were delving deep on the Dover Demon, trying to drink Dubby.
The Dover Demon can't get no Dubby at Dunkin' Donuts. Nah, he's got to delve deep into the dark web for his Dubby.
Exactly.
Impressive.
Thank you. I want to mention, just because I thought this was a funny thought I had when I was researching this. A lot of these were like, for the record, the Dover Demon's not the only thing that's come out of Dover. Back in the 1600s, there was legends of the devil on horseback being seen, and it took me way too long to realize they meant like Satan on horseback and not calling the Dover Demon the devil on horseback, because then all I had was like full Dover Demon Napoleon outfit, like fucking
just a 4-foot frog on a horse. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So,
But don't forget that Brad, your Managishi in some stories is a in the Cree Native. There's a story here I'm reading. It says they used to snatch babies. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, I just want to
used to. They got better. No,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Maybe
better.
that's what the Dover Demon was out doing. And then these teenagers just like almost hit him with the car, and he was like, "Man, maybe I should go home." Dude, what if? Oh man, somebody smarter than me, needs to comment on this video at some point and tell us if through some sort of research you can find if there were any babies that went missing in the area around that night.
That would actually be pretty crazy.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cracked, and then later on they find the kid.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Shoot.
That
60.
would be scary.
Yeah.
We just covered the Solder children in another one I do, and that's a crazy mystery that we might do here one day. I don't know. That's up to you, Joey. But
I've read about the Solder children, and that is definitely one where like you're like, my I think when it comes to like missing children, it is the biggest what the fuck ever. Because it just happens, and you don't think about it. It's the same thing as like so I've been in security for 5+ years now, almost 5 years. So in security, you see a lot of shit, and a lot of shit happens really fast. Like you would think, like if somebody is shoplifting or doing anything kind of like nefarious, that you could get caught easily. Like most people would probably be like, oh, I could probably see a shoplifter. The amount of times I have seen it happen in less than like half a second is ridiculous. And it's the same thing on video. Just recently, out of confidentiality, I'm not going to release the whole thing, but like, so for where I work, there's this part in a mall, and there's a code in this mall that's like code green, right? And if you say that, no, code yellow. Code yellow means that there's a missing child on premises. So recently I was going through a code yellow, and I had to be like, okay, well, let's get everybody together, let's make sure this kid doesn't disappear on us. And we were reviewing video footage, and we caught the guy from video footage because cameras are really good, at least the ones that aren't bank cameras for some reason. So these cameras caught this dude literally taking this little kid. The mom turned away, said hello to her friend, and within the span of the 3 seconds that she turned around to say hello, he snatched the baby out of the crib and started walking towards the door.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
So that takes, to me, like, some of the stories for me, as somebody who's like a security guard and sees a lot of shit and sees how quickly things can happen. These stories mean a lot to me because they do happen so fast that it is almost believable how quickly things happen. Just like that child thing. Like, it was within 3 seconds, and that was he was gone, walked into the crowd. Like, you think the Jason Bourne thing is funny because you're like, oh, he disappeared, and you're like, yeah, well, that actually happens a lot in real life, and people don't even recognize it.
Man, it's messed up.
You can get lost really easily, and that's what's horrifying about stories that involve people getting kidnapped or children being kidnapped, because in busy areas you would never know. And that's one of the things that I think, at least for the Dover Demon and the Benishi, is it's so crazy because it ties so much into just a small portion of story for that, to where you're those stories have impact enough to make a creature and a cryptid feel more real. And that's where I'm oof, that's Joey's story time. But yeah.
Well, hell,
to end on a
yeah, go ahead.
To end on a more positive note too, there's also lots of tales about pirates hiding their treasure around there. So maybe he's just a swashbuckler, and not a baby
He is,
napper.
absolutely.
Just
Maybe he's both.
Or he's an arson bear.
Real fucked up pirate. Dude, what's that?
That's what scurvy looks like.
ER.
I ain't had a lemon in years. That's crazy.
Yeah, but as for the final judgment, I think in my opinion, it's one of those. I would like to believe it's real because I want to believe in the mystical, the magical, and the otherworldly. I also want to believe it's real because there's so many people here. But do I know for certain? No, I don't. So again, like so many of these, like you were kind of saying earlier, Brad, it's just that gray area.
Just plausible enough to be possible, but at the same time, the evidence is skinny enough that you could definitely be a skeptic about this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
But you know what's definitely not a gray area for me? It's all the wonderful places we can be found at. And Joey, what are some of those for you?
If you guys want to go check out our stuff coming up this year and more things from Patchwork Games, including, yes, ad-free versions of our show, S at the end shows, and it's going to be over on patreon.com/patchworkgames, and you can enjoy all of our content over there. You guys get some good updates. We do anything from $1 to $10 tiers. So if you're feeling generous and you want to go throw us a bone, feel free to go over there and do so. We've got a lot going on. As soon as you guys sign up as well, even if you're a free member, it's added that you guys will get added to the Discord, so you guys can talk about horror stories, you guys can talk about games, you guys can talk about whatever you want. There's plenty of things to do in there, and plenty of things that I'm running and throwing around in there. So for anybody that's interested, please go check that out. And don't forget to check out, if you need a super cool voice actor, I've got one right here.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. No, don't forget, Joey, you also have a TikTok coming soon. An official TikTok account for Patchwork Games will be launched soon.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And then for me, yeah, I'm a voice actor. You can find me on all socials under the name Blizzard Wizard, BLZZRD, That includes TikTok and all those good ones. You can also find me at my website at blizzardwizard.com, spelled that exact same way. And if you need anything voice acted, I'm your guy. More character than voiceover work, but hey man, I also like money, so let's talk. But I'm not the only one who does fun, crazy stuff on the side. We got another person here, and Brad does some great stuff.
I try. So yeah, I am one half of Gark House Productions. We have a YouTube channel where we do a lot of sketch comedy. A lot of it revolving around sort of the macabre and haunted, cryptid sort of stuff. In fact, we just wrapped up filming the last little bit for our next episode where we're going to be hunting a banshee. It's going to be uploaded as of recording this Friday. So whenever this gets uploaded, just look and see. It'll probably be up. That said, we also have a TikTok, which Gark House Productions. By the way, that is spelled Garke House Productions. And I have actually started up a solo YouTube channel for the one character that I do on the main YouTube channel, which is The General, which is called The General GHP. You can find it there. Right now, I'm just moving all my TikToks over there, and then I'm going to start doing some long-form stuff. We do have a Patreon as well. If you look up just Patreon/Gark House Productions, I'm sure you'll find it there. We're working on trying to figure out some better tier rewards, but it's a very young Patreon. We're also over on Instagram. Same name, same spelling, same everything. So yeah, just, if you feel like it, if you like seeing some silly stuff, go give us some love over there. Let us know what you think.
As for us, I think we've delved as deep into the Dover Demon as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back hopefully next week, same time. And we got some good things coming for you guys. I can't exactly remember what we're doing next. What do you remember, Joey?
I definitely remember and have not forgotten. So don't forget to tune in next time to delve deeper.
You just might be as surprised as us.
I'm just as surprised as you about next episode. So if you guys want to, go ahead and comment below and sub and like our videos. Make sure to tell your friends, your grandmothers, your family members, your dogs, I don't know, whoever. It really helps out the show, and we love all our delvers all the same. You are all equal to us, except you, Sasquatch. No, we love you the most. Until next time.
Oh, wait. We can't go quite yet. We need to put we need the cake chart. We didn't cakeify.
Oh my God! How could we forget?
Yeah, wait.
Brad with the save. I would have cried, Brad.
See,
do you want
this makes up for all the technical difficulties I've had over the past 2 weeks.
My vote right now. One above Wendigo. Bump up the choop. Bump up the choop.
Yep, especially given that one picture that I found that I sent to you guys. That thing is pathetic, and it is hanging brain, and it's skinny. It's like a little frog butt.
It is flatter than a sedan top.
Absolutely, I will update the cake chart tonight and have a picture.
But there you go. We've got plenty of cake charts, rulings, and
and there will be more in the future.
There's gonna be more, so look out for that.
When it's complete, we'll put it on a shirt.
Hell yeah!
It'll go on a shirt. It's going on merch, and then they'll duke it out for who's the best cryptid out of that.
Hell yeah!
So
that's right.
Until then,
twerking contest.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.